Yeah. Hello? Hello. 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 And welcome to Movie Phone. Hi, everybody. My name is Dean. That is Lock and Cross, and we are back for your Tuesday. Nice to see you. Nice to see me. Nice to see everybody. Do you remember Movie Phone? You remember that? Remember when we were kids? We used to call that fucking line. We just find out what movies were on.
Yes.
One. Remember that? Welcome to Movie Phone for
if
movies
you want
in
Tarzan.
Etobicoke, press 2.
Did you have to voice those?
No, I never voiced those.
I had to do that.
You did the movie
early on.
Movie Phone voice?
Well, it was local. I did it in Prince George.
Come on.
Yeah, I did it in Prince George when I was at CIRX, the Max FM 94. I got a deal from them where I got free movies. I didn't have to pay for movies, but I had to record the movie phone line. So when you called in, it was Lock on there going, press 9 for what. So they'd send me a script.
When we started this conversation, I'm like, do you remember this movie phone thing? And you're like, no. And then you're like, oh yeah, I guess I do. I used to do them.
I was trying to remember what radio city I had to do that in.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Prince George was it. Dude, this is how far we've come in our lifetime, right? Like, I know we've come a long way in our lifetime.
They
so
put
many things that I see. But we
put a sign up.
Go ahead.
They put a sign up at the theater when I left, wishing me best of luck on my new adventure in Winnipeg.
Isn't that incredible? I had no idea. Yeah.
I think I have a picture of that somewhere.
This is how hard up we were growing up. We used to have to call a phone number and spend 7 to 10 minutes going through the listings, the times that the listings start, how much they were. Sometimes you could press 2 for press 3 for the snack schedule. And you're like, okay, we got this, we got hot dogs, you got popcorn, you got stuff.
Yeah.
Now you just fucking flip your phone open. You press a couple buttons with your thumb. Boom, boom, boom. You've got 2 tickets to the VIP section, plus your snacks, and all you got to do is fucking show up. You can't tell me tech hasn't made our lives better, just a little bit. You know how much time it saves people that used to call movie phone all the time? Press 1 for Dances with Wolves. Press 1. It was like show times at these times, and this time, and this time. And now you can just go, fuck, I need to go to a show at 1 o'clock. Boom, 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 and you're done. I love that about tech. Like, tech gets a bad rap, but just for fucking movie tickets, it is so easy. We had it rough.
I think we will see things resort back to the old ways of doing things. Like, remember Boxing Day sales? Everybody used to like get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and head down to Future Shop or Best Buy. Yeah. Stand outside for like
freezing cold
6
to get
hours
speakers.
waiting for the $6 DVD player.
$90 VCR. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah. That's all gone by the wayside. Like lining up for concert tickets. I would be willing to bet money that, because it's so corrupt. That whole Ticketmaster thing is such a scam. I would not be surprised if we end up, somebody will do it in the next 5-10 years, where they'll go on tour and the only way you can get tickets is if you line up the day before.
That would be something.
I would do it. Yeah. It'll be something like that. Yeah.
Because
and it'll piss somebody.
Part of the tech thing is that people have been able to hide all kinds of fees. Ticketmaster is the best in the world at it, by the way.
Oh yeah,
been able to hide these high cost fees into little things you're doing, and you're like, oh, I got $100 tickets to go and see Luke Bryan at the Orpheum, and you're like, this is going to be a lot of fun. And you're like, and then it says, click here, and it sends you an email. It's like, congrats, you bought your tickets, $280, and you're like, fuck, that was $100 ticket. I spent $280, but well, 110 of it was a service fee, and then the other 60 was just because a bathroom fee, and then a red ribbon fee, and the rider fee. It's fucking wild, and you're right, because artists are so pissed off at buried fees and pissing off their fans. Like the whole Taylor Swift fiasco, I still don't even understand it. But all of her fans are like, fuck you, Taylor Swift. And she's like, no, you got to come see me. This isn't kind of, don't worry about that. I'm sorry about the 15 times price point thing on your tickets. It's not my fault, right? But that's technology. It allows people to steal money from you, and you're like fucking pot committed. I would like to go back to an analog society, personally speaking. I really would.
There's
reason I don't have an electric car. A, I don't have money to buy one. But the other reason is, and this is a true story, an electric car is like a fucking big cell phone.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I don't want people following my every move. I don't want Elon Musk knowing where I'm going all the time. I don't want to be a mark that has some things sold to them while they're driving down the 401, all that shit.
Yeah.
It's like I would never, ever buy an electric vehicle. And it kills me because I'm like, oh, fossil fuel's terrible. But the tech thing, it's like any way they can get you. It's like iTunes. Like I got 17 receipts yesterday. It's a bad part of tech. 17 receipts for things I didn't even know I had on iTunes, subscriptions. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. But it would be nice to go back to an analog society where people send you a bill and you got to choose to whether or not you were going to actually pay it. Remember that?
We had
in the mail.
We had a chuckle this morning. When's the last time you wrote a check? I can't even remember.
Whew, I wrote 12 of them to start the year to send to my landlord.
You're still paying your landlord checks?
Yeah, dude didn't want e-transfer. He's old school. I'm like, do you just want me to e-transfer this? I could put it on a thing every month. He's like, no, I need the checks. I'm like, all right, fella. And I had to go and get checks printed. That was the first time. And it was funny because I was writing these checks. I'm like, and I fucked up every single one of them. I had to do 2 of each because I'm like, I haven't written a check for a long fucking time. No idea where the signature went. I'm like, oh, yeah, you got to put the X's under the zeros and you got to do all this other stuff. It was like fucking mind-blowingly old.
Jimmy lives in, we refer to it, the Den of Sadness in town. And he was bitching this morning because he's got to go. He says, I got to stop at the bank. And like, well, what are you doing at the bank? And he's like, I got to get checks. And Grant and I are like, she's like, Bonnie doesn't take anything other than checks. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
That's fucking unbelievable. I know. I dude, I'm the same way. I was shocked when the dude was like, send me checks. I
love e-transfer.
Change the world.
So handy, man.
Yeah, it sure is. Anyway, good to see you. Lachlan Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton. He's a morning show host. My name is Dean. We got a few things to get to today.
Can we start with the Pilsner conversation? I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, we got the Pilsner conversation to get to today. We got the Junos, which were last night. We did a whole show yesterday. No one said a fucking word about it, including you, which this morning shocked me because the Junos were in your hometown. And I'm like, we didn't talk about
the Junos.
I know. I feel the same way. We're going to have that conversation. There was a streaker at the Junos. I know. Seemed like no people cared.
No.
People cared. We don't care.
No. Yeah. There is an illusion.
No, people
created by it's an award show. No one cares.
I know. I hate award shows, especially the CFL of award shows. That's what that was last night.
It's embarrassing.
It was embarrassing, but what's more embarrassing is you and I went to 2 hours of content yesterday. The Junos were in your backyard, and we didn't talk about it once. And there was a streaker with tremendous boobs yesterday.
Oh, did she have did you
Great rack?
You think so? Okay.
Super nice. Yeah, really like them.
Nice tatas.
I'm a boob guy. Yeah, really
you are a boob guy. Eh?
I really am a boob guy. Yeah, all shapes and sizes, nothing weird. Anyway, your Pilsner conversation. Why don't we start there?
So, for those of you who have not tuned in before and are new to this podcast, I drink just about every day, which means every day, and I buy a 48 pack a couple of times a month at Costco. And the goal was to buy a 48 pack and get me through 2 weeks. So occasionally, which I mean every time, I have to buy more beer because my 48 pack is running out before the 2-week trip to Costco, which I generally do on a Saturday. So I refer to those packs as bridge packs. So on a Thursday before the Saturday or a Wednesday, if I'm running a little low and getting worried that I might not have beer in the fridge that night, I'll stop on the way home and just hit like a strip mall liquor store. So I went to a liquor store last Wednesday or Thursday, doesn't matter what day, and I walked in and I went to buy Bud Light. And now what I'm also doing, because I'm trying to expand my horizons, I will pretty much every time I go to the liquor store now, I grab like a 4-pack of something local or craft or something. I like IPAs. So I'll put like 4 of them in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at the prices, and a 15-pack of Bud Light was like $35. And I'm like, what? $34, $35.
Okay, so help me understand something. What is a normal 48 pack that you would normally bring home on a 2-week basis?
Bud Light, Costco, $75.
$75 for 48 beers, so $150 a month. 48 beers times 2. If you do that twice a month, it's 3.42 beers per day. Okay, good. Got it.
So anyway, I
got it.
Usually have to get a bridge pack. And sometimes the bridge pack's a 15er and sometimes it's a 24, right? So I grabbed
24. 24 is $36 around there?
No, it's like 40. Well, I don't know what the prices are because they fluctuate, right? So when I was buying the Bud Light, I'm walking through the cooler.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, $35, man, that's expensive. Like I'm walking by the Pilsner, old style Pilsner. It's got the rabbits on it, the green can, right?
Love that. I used to fucking love that beer because my dad used to have it in the garage and I used to sneak it all the time. And then I had one of those like 10 years later when I was an adult. I'm like, oh my God, this is the fucking best beer I've ever had in my life. Probably wasn't, but
good call.
Pill. Oh,
the pill.
So good. Yeah.
Yes.
Hand me a pill. Like when someone used to say, when I came out west, just real quick aside, when I came out east from out west, people were saying, do you have a Pilsner? And I'm like, and they're like, yeah, we've got these many Pilsners or these types of Pilsners. And I'm like, there are other kinds than the old green label pill.
No, they didn't know what you were talking about.
No, they didn't.
They were not experienced drinkers.
No, they weren't.
So anyway, I'm walking past the pill. It's $23 for a 15 pack. I'm like, I'm getting that. That's like more than $10 for the savings, right?
Yeah.
So I go to the counter, I buy that, I put it in the fridge. That night, I crack a pill. Like usually what'll happen is I will be working in the loft before dinner. And
when you say working, do you mean masturbating to scurrilous porn? Or do you mean really like doing some work?
I'm way too exposed up here. I can't jack off up here.
Okay, good. Okay.
So anyway, I'm doing prep for the show. I'm returning emails, whatever. Usually I'm waiting for my wife to get home from work or finish work. So I might have a beer or two. I've probably already done yoga. I've walked the dog. So I have a pill.
You earned your cups, as they say.
Yeah. Finish one. Got to take a shit. And I'm not talking the shits. I'm talking a shit. Like a good clean the bowels. Do that. Friday.
I got it. Yeah.
Crack a pill. Drink the whole thing. I'm like, that's odd.
Shit again.
I go in that room right over here. Like it's right there. It's handy.
I know.
And I take another like huge dump. Saturday, before the hockey game, I cracked a beer while we were on Spaces. I had a pill. Soon as I got off of Twitter Spaces with you, I had to take a shit. Now, I'm remembering this because it's happened every time. Now, this doesn't happen to me all the time. Like if I drink Bud Light, I don't have to run off and take a shit. And I'm talking good shits. Like fill the toilets shits. So last night, I couldn't believe it. Last night, crack a beer, have it. I had to run to the bathroom. Again,
same pill?
Gronk of my life. 4 days in a row. Boom, 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 boom. One beer and poop. So anyway, we've been talking about that. Now, I'm not alone. I must have had 50 people confirm the fact that Pilsner makes them, and I'm not complaining because they're good shits. It seemed so consistent that I had to mention it, and everyone's like, absolutely. We've got a new evening guy, Evan.
Yeah.
Evan Barron. He does the Wolf and Regina mornings with Chad and Evan in the mornings. Evan looks a lot like Dave Grohl. It's kind of freaky. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we've been calling him whenever we got Saskatchewan stuff on the show. Called him this morning. Evan, does pill make you shit? He's like, yes. Yells at Chad. Chad, does pill make you shit? Chad's like, yes. I have had confirmation from across Western Canada that this beer some people weighed in and said, It's like Coors Light does that to them as well. But nobody else said this beer does it or that beer does it. They were like, no, the pill gets my bowels moving. Anyway, listen, that's not why I wanted to bring it up.
Oh, that's a lie. That's exactly why you wanted to bring it up. So you can talk about having 3 huge, quote, gronks every time you had a pill. Kind of, right? A little bit. Sort of.
Some of the cans they've taken the rabbits off the cans.
Let me see.
This one they got a big rabbit.
Yeah.
But
that's
some of the cans now, of the cans don't have rabbits on them.
Why not?
So people have been asking me to get to the bottom of it. So I sent the Pilsner rep a text because I know her in town and she's looking into it. They've been gradually removing things from the pill can, which is sad. There's supposed to be 12 rabbits on this can, and there's only the one big one.
Yeah.
And then there's one.
Dude, the rabbits don't really matter. What matters is every time you drink that beer, you have to shit. And now, like, you stop talking about shitting every time you drink pill, and you moved on to how upset you are. There are no longer 12 rabbits on the label. So where are we going with this?
That's a thing. I want to know if anybody else
has noticed.
If anybody knows about the rabbits.
No, no, I don't.
Removal.
We don't even
why are they?
Dude, we can't even get pill out here. In Ontario, there is no. That is a Lethbridge staple. That drink.
It's made in Lethbridge, but they drink it in Saskatchewan like it's their own. They've adopted
Pill and clam. That was like it's on like every menu in every restaurant in Saskatchewan. Pilsner and Clamato juice. Down in the States, they do it with tomato juice. It's for real. But getting back to why this makes you poop, I think I found an answer real quick.
Did you Google it?
Yeah. According to gastroenterologist Dr. Kathleen Cugat, quote, alcohol can increase gut motility, and it doesn't get broken down before it reaches the colon, where bacteria feast on these, resulting in bloating and diarrhea. Some alcohol has more or different bacteria than others. So my guess is that pill has the kind of bacteria that makes you shit. And
I do know a couple of people that sadly, they get the sneezes or the sniffles when they drink a beer that's hoppy, and they're allergic to hops. Yeah.
That would be it. Maybe you've got some kind of my buddy has it. He can't eat gluten. He's got a thing where he shits himself every time he eats gluten. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe you got that. Maybe you get the start of that. Maybe your age.
He's a pussy. I think that's what that's called.
People that can't eat gluten don't have allergies. They're just pussies.
I think that's the technical term for it. We can Google that.
Let me look for it. That is one thing that drives me fucking crazy is when people who aren't allergic to gluten, and I don't know who's allergic to gluten anymore. It's like fucking stupid.
We shouldn't make fun of the celiac.
Well, we should a little
because it is actually a thing.
No, it's a thing for people that have issues, celiac disease. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much, Saucy Seawitch, who you hate in the comments section. She's like, it's celiac.
I don't hate her. I just don't understand.
If you don't have celiac disease and you just don't eat gluten, you're a fucking loser.
Well, and
sorry,
it has been proven that if you're on a gluten-free diet for some medical purposes, or not medical, but for some athletic purposes, that it's kind of pointless. It's something that.
Well, it's not even that. It's the people that go to restaurants that don't have celiac disease, that don't have gluten allergies, that are like, can I see a gluten-free menu? I'm like, oh, you're just going to eat the rice version of what you would normally eat? It's got 7 times the sugar, but go fucking right ahead. I mean, do whatever you got to do, right? And those are the people that make me fucking crazy. Like literally, like you hate people that like gluten, or you hate people that that are vegan. I hate the people that pretend to have celiac disease and go, I haven't eaten gluten in 3 years. Really? Why is that?
It's annoying.
It's not good for you. Bullshit. The world lives on gluten. I fucking love gluten. Every meal, give me all the gluten. Give it to me. I want it in bread form. Sometimes I'll make a bread sandwich with bread in the middle of 2 buns. because I'm like, give me all the fucking gluten, just to prove a point.
I had to stop doing this, but I was doing a thing with my family when we'd go out for dinner when they were still around. Girls are gone now. I don't do this just to my wife now, but we would go out for dinner and everyone would order, and then I generally would order last, and I would get like a pizza or whatever, like a meal that obviously has a ton of gluten in it. And I would go, can you, and then I would look at the waitress with as serious a look as I possibly could and go, can you just check with the chef? Because I'm a little gluten sensitive, and see if this is going to be a problem.
I would hate you. I would hate you if I was serving you.
Family would just stop it, Dad.
Yeah,
he's not. And the waitress would always be like, because I just ordered, everything I ordered is chock full of gluten.
But I'm a little gluten sensitive, so
I'm a little gluten sensitive. Can you just check with the chef to see if you can do anything?
You know that the gluten people, and here's the other thing. I had a buddy that owns like a bunch of restaurants, and we were talking about the people that fake those gluten allergies. He's like, he goes, I have a couple of guys that work for me that'll see that and they'll ask, oh, do you have a gluten allergy? No, I'm just not gluten. He goes, you wouldn't believe what we do to their meals.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't believe it. The only way you're going to get pubes in your meal is if you send it back or tell them, I'm gluten sensitive. Then they're like, fuck, let's fill this thing with all kinds of gluten she can't see. Or maybe even a couple of hairs from a certain area of my body. That's what
I used to work at a restaurant in Castlegar when I was going to Selkirk College. I spent a couple of semesters there before I went to Vancouver and went to radio school. So I was like 18, 19 years of age. What the fuck was this place called? Italian guy, really funny little old man. It was a prime rib. They specialized in prime rib. No gluten. Well, he had, and it was pasta, and it was breadsticks, and he was packed every night, and around forever. And so I got a job there bartending, and I remember he used to be so angry because vegetarians would come in, and you could hear him screaming in the back because he cooked. He was on the line. So waitresses would go back. There was no vegetarian meals on the fucking menu.
No, of course not.
So someone at the table, every couple of weeks would ask for a vegetarian dish or something. And you could, why the fuck are they out? Tell them to fucking stay home.
I love guys like that. There's the same thing as when guys show up to restaurants and they're like, it's like, let's say it's at a Chinese food restaurant. You know those people? Those are the people I fucking hate. Like when I was in Arizona, I'm like, give me whatever's we went to this place called Soul Cucina. I'm like, what do you suggest? He's like, the barbacoa fucking burrito. I'm like, bring it to me. That'd be great. But we had one guy in our group looks over the menu and he's like, do you guys have a burger? And I'm like, this is a fucking Tex-Mex restaurant in the middle of fucking Mesa, Arizona. Order something from the menu that's native to the area. He's like, okay. Do you guys have chicken fingers? I'm like, oh my God, fuck, dude, you're the worst in a restaurant. But
did you ever go to Ray and Jerry's?
No.
Ray and Jerry's is a famous steak place in Winnipeg. It's just off the main strip there. And I'm actually going to call out a friend of mine. Christian Hall.
Ray and Jerry's, it's called Ray and Jerry's. Oh, R-A-E. Ray and Jerry's Steakhouse Bar Catering, Winnipeg. I'm looking at it right now.
It looks like, look at it. Do they have any pictures in the inside? It looks like an episode of Twin Peaks. Remember that show?
It does. It's all red. It's all red.
All the waitresses, they all looked like they were in their 50s or 60s.
Yeah. See it?
Okay. And they all looked like they killed somebody in the 80s. Like every single one of the waitresses. And we'd go there all the time. It was like when record reps would come to town. This is back in the day when record reps would actually tour and they had money and they would wine and dine radio stations and try to convince them to
this
play.
Is like the nicest steakhouse in Winnipeg. This is Winnipeg's best steak. This would be like Barbarians in Toronto or Harbor 60 in Toronto. This is Ray and Jerry's Steakhouse. Same thing.
I don't know if I'd put it into that category.
Well, it's comparative, right? Like, listen, if you've been to Winnipeg, you obviously lower your expectations. And if you
No,
can do that,
actually,
when you get to Ray and Jerry's, you're like, this place is fucking awesome.
Dude, you are way off on that. Winnipeg has an unbelievable at least it did when I was there. It has an amazing restaurant scene.
Well, let's get
Winnipeg
to the story.
It kicks ass. It really does.
Since 1957, Ray and Jerry's has been serving up Winnipeg's finest cuisine and delivering unparalleled service. Relax and indulge in the sophisticated retro space that we're known for. Retro space.
Yeah. And like I said, it looks like an episode of Twin Peaks. So anyway, we're out for dinner. I think it was Warner Music. I told you the other day. I should have asked Cody if he remembers this story. Steve Cody was in town the other day. Had a chance to have a quick chat with him.
Sony Music. Yeah.
So, no, Warner. Cody's now. Warner.
He's Warner. Okay, sorry. Pardon me.
Yeah, he's always been Warner, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Cody's.
I don't remember. Fuck.
He's a fucking solid guy. I love
the only record rep I fucking loved.
Steve. He was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Such a good guy. Anyway, we're sitting down. We're looking at the menu, and the waitress comes in, and it looks like, honestly, she might have a knife tucked in behind her back apron, and if you do anything wrong, she's going to stab you. She looks like that. She looks like she may have actually, on the weekends, on Sundays when they're closed, she looks like she has backyard fights. Okay. Dressed nicely, but winters have been hard on her.
All right.
And everyone's getting the steak sandwich or the frites, the steak and frites or whatever, right? We're all going and Christian's like flipping through. Finally, he finds the fish and chips, which, by the way, it's on the last page. I don't even know why they have it on the menu. No one would order fish and chips. You're like, you can't get further away from two oceans than Winnipeg, right?
Yeah. Winnipeg's landlocked in the middle of Canada.
And he's like, I'm thinking about getting the fish and chips. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, what do you do? We're at Ray and Jerry's. Get something that bleeds. Like, what's wrong with you? And he goes, and then he looks at her and goes, excuse me, what kind of fish is the fish and chips? And I went, frozen, you dummy. It's frozen. It's Winnipeg. They had to freeze it to get here. Guess what they did with the cow? They fucking killed it in the parking lot. Order the cow. Oh, man.
I hate that. Listen, I like Christian. Good guy. Good
Yeah.
guy, but that story makes me a little bit less. This guy goes to a steakhouse and he's like, I'll have the fish and chips. I went to Harbor 60 the other day with my friend Adrian. He's like, I'll have the pork chop. I'm like, you fucking serious right now? Are you serious? You're embarrassing me.
Every friends group has one of those assholes. Every friends group.
Yeah, you show up to like House of Chan for like the best Chinese food you've life, and you're like, do you guys have like a wrap? Do you have like a chicken Caesar wrap?
Chicken Caesar. Do you have a buffalo chicken burger?
Yeah. This all looks great, but can I get the BLT? Do you
have a BLT? Man.
Remember
you're giving me like the sweats.
I know. Pisses me off too. Anyway, I do want to switch gears because I'm hard on Leaf fans. You and I had a great chat yesterday. We think we need a Leaf Oilers Stanley Cup after the game that we saw on the weekend. Hockey Night in Canada finally got their fucking shit together, which was nice. But did you see what happened at the Leaf game last night? Lose to the Sabres. Not even the story. Sabres played great. Leafs ran out of steam.
No, what happened at the Leafs game?
Something that changed my mind about Leaf fans. Like, I fucking can't stand the demographic of Leaf fans that own the majority of the tickets in perpetuity in the lower bowls. They're all businesses, corporations, millionaires and billionaires. And traditionally speaking, when you watch a Leaf game, they never show up in time, right? Yeah, that's how they clap. It's like this.
They're wearing a leather jacket.
Bingo, leather jacket, maybe a little like cashmere, and they show up after their mistress has done the champagne and the sushi, and then they'll go into their seats, or maybe when they're done getting hammered and talking business and all the other shit that they do. So it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to watch the start of Leaf games. It's embarrassing to see the lower bowl empty. It's embarrassing that the real fans have to sit in the bleeders and still have to pay $300, $400, $500 a ticket. That's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
But they kind of changed my mind yesterday. Prior to the game, anthems are on. I'm not an anthem guy at all, to the point where I've been campaigning for the last several years to get rid of anthems from sporting events. But this was beautiful. This was incredible. This was awesome. I don't know if it's made the rounds in Edmonton because You guys hate everything to do that comes out of the city?
No, I didn't see this. We were so focused on the Junos, right? So we might have missed this.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get to the Junos in just a second. But this happened in Toronto.
That was a little joke. Thank you for catching that.
It was a good one. Mike cuts out because they got the Sabres in town. You start with the U.S. anthem, and then you go to the Canadian national anthem. It's what happens. Depending on where you are, that anthem goes last, right? So this woman who does the anthem, they had a switch in anthem singers this year. Her microphone cuts out at the start of the anthem. I was shocked at how Leaf fans responded. They responded with a fucking assist that actually made me proud to be a Leaf fan. They sang the American national anthem for this young lady. Let's watch it together.
It's a great
Isn't
moment.
that awesome? Isn't that just fucking... I was stunned. I'm sitting on the couch last night. I'm like, this never happened in the States, but let's enjoy this together. Where we actually interceded. That was fucking international relations 101. That's what that was. We hate them. They hate us. You got Tucker Carlson talking about Trudeau the dictator. I spent the week down there last week. Everybody thinks that we're eating out of dog bowls up here. Legitimately. I think we got ID scores. And you know how we respond to that? You know how we respond to Americans who sully our good name? We sing the anthem for them, and we tell them that we love them, because that is what Canada is all about. And I was shocked because Leaf fans did it. Traditionally, they're not in their seats until halfway through the second period because they're having affairs in the fucking broom closet of their executive suite. So that was really nice.
Yeah, I'm glad you showed me that. Yeah.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's what I was watching last night. Do you really have to take a shit right now?
I do. I don't know how you want to handle this. I wish I was kidding. I was just sending you a note seeing if you could cover. Can you cover? I didn't think you'd want to make it.
How long are you going for?
I can be a quick shitter. I can shit during a Ramones
2 minutes?
Yeah. I'm serious. I will.
You just had a pill, didn't you? You just literally had a pill. And
I swear to God, I shouldn't have done that. I took it out to show you the lack of rabbits.
All right, go. You take a dump. Lachlan had a pill. Just so you know, the first segment of this podcast, Lachlan came in and he would cover for me. I'm just covering. I just got to talk. It's not like I got to do something serious. So he starts the podcast today. There's his dog sitting there. Hi, Kingston. He comes to the podcast and he has a major problem because he's noticed that he's got a thing when Pilsner it gets in his mouth, he has to take a dump immediately. So what did he do? What did Lachlan Cross, professional broadcaster, do? At the start of an hour-long podcast, we're 30 minutes in. He chugs a Pilsner. Chugs it. Now where is he? Just to prove that his whole issue with Pilsner and the bacteria that makes him shit is real. He's in the bathroom. That's where he is. To the point where he sent me a note in our private chat in the software that we run to do these live streams. The private chat, Lachlan Cross says, Dean, I need to take a shit. Next text. Dean, I'm not kidding. I really have to go. What do you want to do? That was his text to me. Keep in mind, he started the podcast by saying, hey, every time I drink a Pilsner, I go to the bathroom. I have to take as he called it, a gronk. And he was concerned. So we start this incredible podcast. What does he do? Hammers a pill. And then in the middle of it, sends me a note. And he's like, I got to go to the bathroom. How do you want to handle this? I don't have a choice, Lachlan. Just go to the bathroom. That's all you have to do. Get up, go to the bathroom, come back in. It's going to be 2 minutes. As he said, was a 2-minute dump. We're at 2 minutes. So clearly he's not taking this podcast seriously enough. If I knew that a certain beer made me have to shit my face off, the last thing I'd do is have one in the middle of a podcast. How you feeling? You all right?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah. I wash my hands too. Now I can have another one.
You're the most fucked person I've ever met in my life. I love it. Anyway.
Junos?
Yeah. Is there a reason we didn't talk about the Juno Awards last night? Canada's biggest musical celebration.
A couple of things. One, and I want people to be aware of this.
Sucks ass.
No, I want people to be aware of this.
Okay.
I'm wildly proud of this country. Even with the troubles that we're in right now, I am unbelievably proud to be Canadian. And I think we do need days like yesterday, weekends like the one we had here in Edmonton, where we celebrate Canadian music.
Uh-huh.
I honestly think that it's a good thing. I think that the CanCon rules need to be revisited because I think that they have actually, we've talked about this. We don't need to go down this rabbit hole again, but I think CanCon actually now works against Canadian artists.
Yep.
And I wish I had the answer to make the Junos more significant than they are in the public eye. Like, I wish it was a bigger deal to Canadians than it is. And I don't think it is. It is a lot like the CFL. And I think it is largely because we compare ourselves.
It's a CFL of the Grammys. That's what I called the Junos, and I have called the Junos for like 100 years. CFL of the Grammys. It's like a feeder system for real music. I don't see a lot of these guys coming back.
No, that's not fair.
That's
Canadian music.
Fair. It's
Canadian music stands up. Canadian.
Sure
the award show doesn't. And even the record companies, even the people that are involved in it in the industry don't take it as seriously as they maybe should.
Yeah.
Or don't give it as much credence as they should, because like half the time these artists that win these awards don't even show up to collect them. Right?
They're busy. And it's the CFL of the Grammys.
If
right?
you get a nod for a Grammy, you fucking go, unless
Everybody
you're Bob Dylan.
Well, okay, so this is the thing. So I didn't know they were on last night. Like, I had no idea. I had zero clue the Junos
they
were on last night.
inducted Nickelback into the Canadian Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last night too.
Well, they didn't just get inducted. Maybe the greatest hockey player to ever play the game, who is an Edmonton Oiler currently, inducted them. And Connor McDavid said it was his favorite band of all time. That made me laugh. That's exactly what he said. He's like,
you know what? Maybe they are.
Oh,
like,
that's
I
what
love
I'm
Nickelback,
saying. I think
man.
they are too. I think music like that is for very simple people with very simple tastes.
I like you know what? It's a great rock and roll
player.
band.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great rock and roll party band, you know, patio lanterns, like out on the deck, that kind of stuff. Throw on a little Nickelback when everybody's had 6 or 7 beers. It's a good time. They're not a thought-provoking band.
No.
They're just not. But Connor McDavid loves them. Very simple music for a very simple fella. And he got to induct him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something,
which is awesome.
I mean, the Juno Hall of Fame, which was nice. But what I found interesting about the whole thing is that it was in Edmonton, and you didn't say anything about it yesterday. Like, not a word. And I'm like, I had no idea. Did you not get asked to go? Like, you're the host of one of the biggest radio shows in Edmonton. The Juno is in town. Nothing. You didn't get like an invite. You didn't say, hey, nothing like that. So they got all the music. This is my thing. They got all the music people, the best music people from around Canada in one place in your hometown. And they're not like, hey, we should be beating down the doors of radio stations to have interviews, bring guys in, come and talk about it the next day. See, this is why I didn't know about it, because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And they don't give a fuck about me.
No.
And they don't give a fuck about anybody in radio in this town.
Certainly don't give a fuck about radio anymore, because they get all their music out on iTunes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Spotify. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter who it is. But when
I'll tell you what happened, because I do want to
highlight, when the highlight is a streaker, and that was the only news from the Junos that made any news anywhere, a streaker. Because, like, do you know who won what album and who won what song and best this and best that? No, I know nothing. All I know is Avril Lavigne had a streaker, which we'll see in a second. Great toddlers, by the way, on the streaker. Decent rack. All I know is that there was a streaker and she won a TikTok award. That's all I know. There was no advertising for it. I didn't see any on any television
protesting something.
Greenbelt. Yeah, she was protesting for Ontario, which I thought was quite nice. Really nice lady protesting Ontario. But
and when you want to protest the Greenbelt, use your boobs.
Yeah, you do. Well, I paid attention. I don't know if you did, but I had a good look at what the messaging was for probably 20 minutes just to check out all the messaging on her front and her back. It was not a bad rack. Do you want to see the video itself of the streaker?
I've seen it, but yeah, we should see it again. Play it again.
We really should. Yeah.
Can I say something quickly?
Sure.
So on Friday, we get a note from our promotions department. And they said, oh, by the way, does anybody want to go to the Junos? Because they have a thing called Juno Fest. Not the Junos, not the awards ceremony. No one even remotely said a word to us about that. But no, they want us to go to Juno Fest. So out of curiosity, I clicked on the link and I went through and I looked at every band. There's like 50. I knew 3 of them. One of the bands I knew because I was in a band with the guys that are in that band. And I went.
And you're not a musician of sorts.
I'm a harmonica player. I'm a wildly talented musician.
So it goes to show some guys used to bang around with in a garage got nominated for a Juno on the weekend.
Well, no. Juno Fest is just they have a bunch of shows all weekend long. When they do this in Toronto, they do the same thing. They put a bunch of showcases on. It's right?
like a showcase, so you can go to like some center and you can watch a showcase of different bands that might be there for Juno weekend.
Yes,
some new artists, that kind of stuff.
Yes. So you get a wristband. And everybody that buys a ticket to the Juno. So they must have realized. They must have realized no one was going to these fucking shows. So maybe we'll offer them up to the guys that play music every day, all day long.
Yeah.
For their fucking careers that might actually talk about the fucking music.
Were the tickets free?
Yeah, they would have been free. But I'm just saying, I got that note on Friday.
And the Junos were yesterday?
Friday.
Yeah. So Avril Lavigne won Fan Choice Award, the TikTok Juno Fan Choice Award. The Weeknd won for Single of the Year. Harry Styles won for International Album of the Year. The Weeknd won for Album of the Year. The Weeknd won for Artist of the Year. Group of the Year was the Toronto Maple Leafs house band, the Arkells. And some guy named Preston Pablo won for Breakthrough Artist. I can't announce the Breakthrough Group. And then The Weeknd won Songwriter of the Year and pretty much every other award that wasn't country related, including Pop Album of the Year, including Performance of the Year. It was just The Weeknd's. And guess where The Weeknd was yesterday?
Doing blow in Vegas?
Not at the Junos.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Avril streaker. Kind of the narrative this morning is funny too. The Avril streaker is like everybody's talking about how Avril used to be punk and badass. Some streaker shows up, interrupts her fan choice introduction or whatever it was she was doing. And she told her to get the fuck off the stage and called her a bitch. I'm like, that's not a very nice Canadian thing to say to another Canadian, is it? Let's watch it together. There's the video. Oh, sorry, that's the picture. You can see the guns. Not allowed to play the video, I've been told. Sorry. Not allowed to play the video of the streaker. We're going to lose monetization on YouTube. Yeah, that's what I've just been told. But that's the streaker. Those are her boobs. And if you want to have a look at the Avril Lavigne streaker, you can go to crier.co and check it out. She was there to save the Greenbelt and to talk about Indigenous rights. Avril Lavigne says, get the fuck off the stage, bitch. And she literally got off the stage. She just was like, okay. She just walked off the stage.
Well, a very large man that was dressed in a suit walked up very casually on the side stage. I saw a couple of different shots this morning. And went up to her and just said, and tapped her on the shoulder and said, come with me, and wasn't aggressive. But it was overall, it was a very Canadian protest because one, if you're in Canada and you jump up on stage at any event, there's probably no conversation beforehand about how to handle a protester on live TV. So they didn't know what to do. So there's a lot of this. who's going to get this? Should we send Leroy up? Like, no one knows what to do because it just doesn't happen. And then the host also would be just as shocked. So Avril, she's the host at that point. Mm-hmm. She's not aware of what to do because she's in Canada. There's 300 people in there watching the Junos. Mm-hmm. So she's just trying to get through her speech, and she's probably surprised that no one planned for this and that security isn't bum rushing the stage, right? Now, let's just take this out of Canada and put it down in the States, right? The only reason why Will Smith got away with jumping up on the Oscars last year, or the Oscar stage, is because it was Will fucking Smith.
Yeah, he won Best Actor.
Yes, and he was sitting in the front fucking row. If you're at any event in the States and someone jumps up on stage, guaranteed you've got 3, possibly 4, and depending on the show, maybe 5 guys running at you to tackle you. Not only that,
beat the shit out of you once they get you backstage.
Not only that, doesn't matter what show you're at, someone is going to take you behind a curtain or out a door. Mm-hmm. They're going to boot fuck you. And they may even do it in front of the audience. You see that guy that jumped up on stage at the Black Crow show?
Yeah.
Chris Robinson took his guitar and smashed him in the head
with it. Yeah,
like 3 times.
And then security came and grabbed him and dragged him out by his feet. Yeah.
Did you see the Chappelle one?
That guy dislocated both of his arms and he had a fractured skull. And they showed the beating live on stage, which I really appreciated.
When Chappelle did a play-by-play of the beating to his audience and said, man, you are in shit. I roll with some pretty heavy fucking dudes. And they were heavy. They fucked him up on that stage.
Yeah.
In front of the audience.
He was in the hospital for 5 days after that beating. He was waffling in and out of a coma on the way to the fucking hospital. Mm-hmm. In Canada, they're like, can you get off the stage? I'll play the video. I don't care. Here's a video of Avril and Streaker. Let's watch this together.
Hip-hop and pop records fused with his Punjabi roots. Based in Victoria, BC, his music has gained a worldwide audience with sold-out shows in Canada, the U.S. Get the fuck off. Get the fuck off, bitch.
Yeah, there's a big guy. There he is. Yeah, big fella. And he's like, oh, come on. It's okay. Did you see how gentle he was with her? Dude, that's in the United States. That woman has a couple of dislocated arms.
Well, yeah, for sure. They don't care down there. Not only that, someone pulled out a weapon and they're ready to shoot her if in the state. I hate to say it, but that's the other issue is that they're going to be armed.
Can we relive my favorite moment from the Junos? It was before the Junos. It was Connor McDavid, your hero.
Who's your favorite Canadian artist of all time? There's so many good ones out there. I got to go with the guest of honor tonight and Nickelback. I'm presenting the award to them. They're being inducted to the Hall of Fame. Such a special night for them. My friends, my family are all huge fans. I'm a huge fan. I got to go with Nickelback.
That's brave. That is a brave dude right there. That's brave.
You know
dude.
what?
Admitting that he likes Nickelback. Like if last year, remember when he was with that lady and he was walking around hammered, holding her hand. No one wanted to talk about it. And it was because he didn't want it to damage his reputation. That might actually be worse.
No, because it's come around.
What, Nickelback's cool again?
Because of all the abuse that, yes.
You think they're cool again?
Yeah.
Do you really? I haven't seen the numbers on that. I need to see the numbers on whether or not they've made a reputation.
It became a thing. Well, we do it to all our Canadian artists, right? We love our bands.
Yeah.
As long as they're in a van and they're barely able to make gas money to get to the next city.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
love them. We love them. As soon as they can afford a plane and they can fly, we fucking turn on them. And we do it to all of them. Every single one of them. Whether it's Justin Bieber, Nickelback, or Rush, it doesn't matter. We turn on anybody that has any success in this country because we love the underdog story. So we don't want them to actually be, we actually don't want them to have any success. Mm-hmm. And Jen brings up the hip in the comments section. They're
an outlier.
Success.
No, But they're an outlier. They had success in Canada.
They couldn't get
break
5 people in a club in the States.
Yeah.
They played to empty rooms in the US.
Yeah.
They had a couple of pockets in the United States where they were
Buffalo.
fairly successful.
Yeah, big
right?
in Buffalo.
Seattle, right? It was
big.
But I'm telling you right now, there was so much hatred and visceral directed at Nickelback that I think at some point it became cool again to like them. And it's a certain demographic. It's that bottom half of the millennials that now defend them online, and they get attention for defending Nickelback online. And McDavid is right in that fucking wheelhouse.
So you're telling me,
I'm telling you, I'm not wrong about this.
That the younger generation, so we grew up with How You Remind Me. I remember when I got to Toronto, it was one of the biggest songs in the world. Like, it just was fucking huge. We threw a big showcase with Nickelback. They were the nicest guys in the world. I actually played volleyball against those guys in high school. They're from Hannah, Alberta. I'm from Drumheller. So we used to play against each other. Like, the great guys. Really nice. They're really nice.
Just
us.
Good Canadian,
good individuals.
Fucking beer drinking, pot smoking,
pop rock stars. Right? That's all they are. But our generation, and you know this, 4 or 5 years after How You Remind Me, everybody's like, oh,
enough.
We don't want that.
Well, we overplayed them.
Well, it was the Creed phase. Everybody went through their Creed dirge rock kind of fucking cross between grunge and hairband shit. And everybody's like, I can't figure this out. Like, these guys are just karaoke singers.
Post grunge, I called it.
Maybe one of the best musicians I've ever talked to ever in my life, a guy named Ian Thornley from a band named Big Wreck. This dude is a music head. He's like, dude, he's a prodigy. Gets it. That band understands it. They are absolutely outstanding musicians that have figured out where their place is, and they just keep delivering hits. That's what they do. And everybody's like, well, why can't you evolve? Why can't you be a better band? It's like, fuck, this is what we are. We're a garage rock band from fucking Hannah, Alberta that made it big, and now we're just dicking around on private lakes having a great time. How can you hate that? I can't. I turn up some of their songs, but it's not something I'm willing to admit openly in a field of people and music heads, because every music head's like, fucking Nickelback? Are you kidding me? They're the worst.
We get abused all the time for
Leader
playing
of Men.
them, and I'm like,
Leader of Men's a great tune. Nobody talks about Leader of Men. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. That's a Nickelback.
Anything off the State, Cowboy Hat, all those Fly, all those records.
Yeah.
Those singles were all solid. But they, again, we got beat up by grunge. Grunge became mainstream. Then we had all the bands that tried to copy it. So you had the Creeds, and you had the Theory of a Dead Man's, and you had the Seven Mary Threes, and you had this wave of shit that, not shit, I'm just saying, I'm using it as I liked it. Like Seven Mary Three, Rock Crown is one of my favorite records of all time. You had this wave of post-grunge that was just straight up rock and roll, but without a lot of the Nirvana had, like, there was obviously some shit going on there, right? Soundgarden, there was some shit going on there. Alice in Chains, there was definitely, so that we got a commercialized version of an attempt at grunge in that post-grunge phase, and Nickelback fit into that. And that's where they stayed. And that's where everybody turned on them. And then it stayed. And that's where rock radio never evolved. Rock radio tried to hang on to it. So 95, 96, 97, we keep getting all these bands. Boom, boom.
Well, part of it is, too, you beat the shit out of that music because it's Canadian, and so everybody gets sick of it, and they resent the band, right? Because the band was huge for like 10 years. No, but my point is this. The band was so huge for 10 years, and in Canada, you had to fucking certain amount of Canadian content you had to play, and so you just got it rammed down your throat. So in Canada, part of that is natural consequence, where we're like, okay, with the Nickelback already, play something else. Somebody play something else. And these guys didn't get sick of it. Like the millennials, they're just catching it right now. So I get it. I can understand that. It's new to them.
My daughter has a Nickelback t-shirt. She's 25. Really? And if Nickelback came to town, she would buy tickets and we'd go to that concert. Yeah, and not worry about it.
I would probably go too.
She would tell all her friends, right? and they would all go, but she also goes to Luke Combs or whatever the fucking country, because she just likes catchy music. The thing is, all these bands have a strategy when they go in to write something. They have a creative process, and they have a system, right? And they write music based on that system. Okay. Chad, when he sits down and he writes a song with the band, they've got a formula. Bryan Adams has a formula. Metallica has a formula. Everyone has a formula to how they present music and content and creative ideas. Okay. And when it comes out and you put it on a record or you put it on Spotify, you either like it or you don't like it because you like what they do. Okay. Hating them for having a formula and being successful for that is absolutely asinine to me. AC/DC,
the most formulaic rock band of all time,
released the same album 22 fucking times. And people bought billions of copies of it. Angus Young joked about it.
Yeah. He's like, we keep putting out the same shit and you guys just keep buying it. But that's home base for a lot of AC/DC fans, right?
But
and
why was there more hatred? There was way more hatred for Nickelback than AC/DC.
I think it was Chad's hair. Yeah, and the other thing that Chad did, no, he does. He got a housewife's haircut. The other thing that Chad did that I thought, and people were like, fucking guy, get a new haircut already. You got to go with the fucking bob. But the other thing that he did, and I don't know if you remember this, this is when Nickelback started to nosedive, right at the peak of their popularity. Rolling Stone does an interview with Chad Kroeger. And they're like, what was it like growing up, putting this band together? Like, how did you survive? And he's like, well, I used to blow myself.
No, he didn't.
I used to blow myself for a case of beer. Do you not remember that story?
I don't remember this.
How he said he could S his own D, and he did it for a case of beer in a garage with his friends once. You don't remember that?
No.
That's when everybody was like this. You know, what? You did what? Everybody that liked Nickelback at the time was like, wait a second. Yeah, that's a real fucking story. You've never heard this story?
I've never heard this story. I swear to God. I've never heard this story.
I'm going to Google it. Chad Kroeger suck
his own dick.
Chad Kroeger sucked his own dick. Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to let you Google that.
Well, I just did. And here it is. Even though Nickelback's success is pretty much single-handedly Chad Kroeger funded tons of money losing releases by my favorite bands on Roadrunner Records, is kind of potshot journalism. Guy said, I put my own dick in my mouth. I was a certain age, really flexible, required a lot of pulling. I just really wanted a case of beer. That's what he said. And I can't remember what year that was, but I distinctly 2008, 2009, maybe ish. And I distinctly remember
that may have been
going,
a story you keep to yourself, but
yeah. So maybe that was it. But to your point, well deserving to be in the Juno Hall of Fame. Huge band. Tens of millions
they're one
of records.
Canada's. They're one of Canada's. You can like them or dislike them, but they're one of Canada's biggest bands. And we still do this. People are doing it in the comment section right now.
What are they doing?
They're trashing a band that has sold. If they come to town, they'll sell out immediately.
Nickelback had some catchy tunes and they had sales, that formula for a Hall of Fame success. Dan T. What is that? He's being nice. He likes Nickelback.
No, but I saw some people that are like,
oh yeah,
saying that that they're a joke.
Theory of a Nickel Down.
Yeah,
because they all sound the same. Theory of a Dead Man, Nickelback, Creed. Theory of a Nickel, Creed. Remember that? They would kind of lump all those bands together with the deep voice.
Default,
Creed.
Yeah. There was less substance to it. Right? Like, it's like expecting a Radiohead song from Kiss. It's not going to happen. It's Nickelback.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that part of the disappointment was we had some substance in the grunge era. There was some pain in there, right? You know what I mean? Like something came through. It was new. It changed music. It was something. Then they commercialized it. And then you had a bunch of guys that just grew up robbing 7-Eleven and betting their buddies a case of beer that he could suck his own dick. And there's not a lot of substance to that. I'm sorry.
Chris Smith in the comment section goes, I tell you folks, it's harder than it looks. I bet it would be. And even if I couldn't do it,
That's a song.
I don't know if I would. And even if I did do it,
that's a lyric from one of their songs. Christopher. Old Topher.
I tell you, folks, it's harder than it looks. Anyway, fascinating stuff. Last story of the day before we go, I want to let you in on something I found fascinating today. A gentleman in the United States is suing Buffalo Wild Wing because the boneless wings are, quote, just nuggets with fancy sauce.
How much is he suing them for?
$22 million. Chicago man filed a class action lawsuit against Buffalo Wild Wings, claiming the restaurant chain falsely advertised its boneless wings as the real deal, when in reality, he believes them to be nothing more than chicken nuggets and fancy sauce, Locke.
Oh, my God.
According to court documents, these are court documents, the plaintiff, Amen Halim, filed a complaint in U.S. District Court in Northern Illinois against Buffalo Wild Wings, an Atlanta-based company who complaint says is responsible for the composition, preparation, advertising, and marketing of Buffalo Wild Wings. The complaint says those aren't wings. Those are nuggets. False and deceptive marketing advertising of Buffalo Wild Wings, boneless wings. And it goes on to say, specifically, the name and the description of the products, i.e. as boneless wings, leads reasonable customers to believe the products are actually chicken wings. He claims Buffalo Wild Wings' description of the product leads customers to believe their boneless wings are deboned chicken wings made up entirely of the chicken wing meat. When the product is actually slices of chicken breast, deep fried like chicken wings, compositionally different than real chicken wings. Are there people that just don't have Wi-Fi, jobs, or cable? Like, I read that today and I thought, oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah.
Like, even if you want to break down the lawsuit in terms of what a boneless wing is, I am not a smart man. I knew when I went to Wild Wing when I was 30 and boneless wings appeared on the menu. I knew those were nuggets.
You just knew they were nuggets. Here's the thing.
And I also know how difficult it is to remove said bone from the meat in one piece. It's impossible. So I'm not sure what Mr. Halim's issue is, but that might be the dumbest man on the planet. If you, for a second, thought boneless wings were just wing meat with no bones, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
End it. We can't have you walking around.
No. I want to be careful about how I choose my words here. Because I think COVID did a lot of work for us.
Not enough.
In helping the overall and intellectual level of society. Actually, I think I might have even moved up close to the bottom half of that 50% of the smartest guys in the world.
You're probably not wrong.
Based on what's happened in the last 3 years, right? But again, you can't say you wish somebody would die. But let's say this.
Die. He just needs to stop. He needs to take himself out of public circulation. He needs to go and sit in a house. He needs to go get Wi-Fi. He needs to have conversations. He's got to go and help out at a youth drop-in center. Take yourself out of the public eye. You cannot be walking around making any kind of legal decision when you're that pissed off that the boneless wings are not wings that just had the bones removed. And you're so angry, you're like, I'm fucking launching a $22 million lawsuit. I'm going to pay a fucking corporate lawyer retainer, and I'm in because I'm mad.
Like I said, you can't say, I wish somebody would die. You can't do that. That's not the right thing to do. But let's just paint a picture.
Okay.
Let's say he is walking to Wild Wings to have like actual wings with bones in them.
Yeah.
And a huge truck accidentally runs him over. I'm going to be okay with that.
Yeah. I'm not going to be unhappy either. Because it's an 18-wheeler, right? So it's got to go at least 9 times.
I am not saying I wish that to happen. I'm saying that if next week we have a story on the Dean Blundell, remember that guy that was suing Wild Wings because the boneless chicken
were just nuggets?
Was just nuggets. He died. He got hit by an 18-wheeler. I would be like, oh, that's awful.
Yeah, well, I'll be okay.
Now I want to go to Wild Wings.
I do too. Look at these fucking things. I would eat the shit out of the boneless wings, regardless of bones or not.
I am a bone guy, though. Like I want the bone in there.
I am too.
I do. Yeah.
I am too, but I know
I'd never
difference.
order
I know
boneless
that
anything.
these are just fucking nuggets parading around as wings. I get it. And I never had an issue with it. That's the other thing. I never once had an issue where I'm like, you know what? I'm a little upset because this doesn't appear to be wing meat. Just wing meat. And I'm happy not to get wing meat because if you've had wing meat, sometimes you get a vein in there that doesn't look too appetizing once you peel through the first outer layer of that wing, where you're like, why am I eating this vein? Just think of it in terms of it being a vein-free bone wing eating experience minus the bone. That's all you got to do. But like you, I prefer the bone.
We had a guy.
They're not wings.
Tim Haberstock.
But we all fucking knew that. Yes, go ahead.
Tim Haberstock went to high school with him. Had a really small
penis.
Felt bad for him. Yeah.
Did he really? Micro penis?
It sat up on his balls when we were in the shower.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. Anyway, old Tim. We were at McDonald's. We were in the Okanagan. We traveled a lot as a basketball team, and he was quite the basketball player. Probably one of our better players. Ordered chicken nuggets or whatever, and there was a beak in it.
That's a problem. That's something you should sue over.
We didn't. I think he got a free bucket of them. You got a free 6-pack back, but yeah, you bit in.
That's something you sue over when you have a wing or a nugget, and then you open the nugget, and the head of an actual fucking chicken or part of its beak is in your fucking nugget. Yeah, that's a problem. Fucking
boneless
people.
Chicken wings that aren't actually from the chicken wing. That's not an issue.
No, it is for amen. Anyway, I'm glad I'm not him today. Oh, well, goodbye. Thanks for doing this, dude. Good to see you. Lachlan Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton. He is the morning show host of The Locker Room at Lachlan Cross on Twitter is where you can find him. Make sure you do so. Give him a follow. Good to see you again.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Boneless wings, huh? I have a problem. What's that, sir? These wings, boneless wings, don't have bones in them. Well, that's the idea. Well, then they're just nuggets, basically. Well, I'm suing. But you didn't want the bone in wings. You just wanted the meat part, right? Yeah. Well, that's the meat part. Yeah, but it's not all wing meat. God, I love this planet. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being part of the show. Really appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow. As always, special thanks to our partners and sponsors at Cantork.com, Canada's assembly tool experts. Listen, these guys are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Canadian-made company. They make torque wrenches bigger than your house if you need them. And trust me, there are applications, whether it's tunneling, whether it's railroad, whether it's heavy machinery, nuclear, doesn't matter. You need a big torque wrench that nobody can make. These guys will make it for you. They make it for projects around the world. And I mean that around the world, from Dubai to China to the United States of America to Poland. I mean, these guys do work everywhere. So if you're looking for a torque wrench you can't find anywhere and you've got a bolting solution you can't figure out, or if you just need some consultation in that department, this is your group. Go to Cantork.com. No matter the scale of your bolting project, they have your solution. Cantork.com. Check them out today. Colin's your guy. Kevlaw.ca, Kevlaw Defense Attorney, St. Catharines, Ontario is where they're located, and they will do everything in Southern Ontario to keep you free and get your life back. Doesn't matter what the offense is. If it's something that's legit or if it's not, it doesn't matter. These guys will take care of it. That's why you need great legal help 24/7. Kevlaw Defense Lawyers are there for you today. If you want to speak to a lawyer, go to the Kevlaw Defense Lawyers Website, kivlaw.ca, or you just email the principal there. His name's Robert at kivlaw.ca. Again, Robert at kivlaw.ca. And he's going to help you. He knows you need honest answers. He knows you need an experienced defense lawyer that can get you out of your issue and can help you learn from it. So make sure you do that. Go to kivlaw.ca for more information today. And, of course, Ed at Ed's Fine Imports, his Gitch or our Gitch. They can be your Gitch, too. We wear them all the time. Boxer briefs, Canadian-made, the best underwear on the planet. And they got the pouch in the front. Everybody talks about it, but one guy perfected it. Gitch, edsfineimports.com. Go and order them from him today. And use this promo code GITCH3, and you'll get a free pair when you order 3 or more. Gitch, and then the number 3. edsfineimports.com. Luxury branded underwear. You need to buy some today. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Around 4 o'clock. I believe showtime's at 4. Jesse Miller, social media educator, is going to join us on Thursday, and Michael Geist on C18 as Justin Trudeau tries to remove the ability that you have to search for things on the internet. And the fucking Facebook issues that are coming from that are incredible. Yeah, no news on Facebook anymore. Facebook told the Canadian government to shove it. I fucking love it. And I hate Facebook. Anyway, that's coming up for the rest of the week. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow right around 4 o'clock right here. Don't forget to rate, subscribe. Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch, Apple, Google, Spotify, etc. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Have a great day.